does rape culture then influence the actual prevalence of rape?
I think that, like Ellie was saying, that it's become so normalized in our conversation, in our daily lives, and it's lived, that the prevalence, and I think what's also happening in our society is the level of violence. So the prevalence seems to be higher, but the level of violence associated, not just with sexual violence, but violence generally in our communities, is so much more horrific. I mean, every second news feed that you read is either around rape, sexual assault, or levels of violence perpetrated against children, against vulnerable groups, the minorities, women, children, disabled. So the prevalence, that culture and the language and the way that we engage with it definitely does impact on the prevalence. Because it is, if you think about recently, you have this gang violence in terms of gang perpetrating a survivor. It doesn't horrify anybody any further if you say that there were 7 perpetrators. So what in that context that you have 7 people standing there and not one person actually thinks that this is not right? So what about a society allows that this actually happens? You know, and what are we doing to try and expose that?
I think also what we need to remember is that rape in our country is a high reward, low risk activity at the end of the day. And in part that is because of the ways, I mean, and this is not a problem unique to South Africa, but we have very high levels of underreporting. We know that roughly more than 50% of crimes in general that happen are not reported to the police. For sexual and domestic violence crimes, that proportion is much higher. And that's because the victim is ashamed at having been victimized in that way, doesn't want to have to tell her story, has tried to report something once before, has reported to a family member and been told, oh no, we don't want, we don't want to accuse somebody of that. There's a large number of reasons why we have that kind of underreporting. But even if you look at the crimes that are reported to police, there are so many steps before we get to prosecution and then again to conviction. In South Africa, we see between 6 and 7% of rape cases that are reported to police land up in successful conviction. So that's an enormous funnel down to the very small number of perpetrators who are actually brought to book. And what ends up happening is that perpetrators who are known perpetrators in communities, in families, are then seen out on the street again, enjoying life just as it was before, right? Whereas life for the victim will never be the same. And I think that that's what's problematic about the rape statistics that we have.